I think the bad guys might be winning. I think the TERFs might be winning. I think the transphobes, the bigots, the everything else hateful and awful, I think they might be winning. I'm tired of the constant circular arguments and things. A good way, well, not a good way, but an effective way to drain the energy out of someone's ability to fight you is to constantly befuddle them with so many different things coming at so many different angles they don't even know where you're coming from next. It's confusing and it's baffling and you don't know whether they're being serious or they're trying to be sarcastic, and it's very, very confusing. They're trying to overwhelm you with such stupidity that you just give up trying to manage a conversation with them about any given issue. You see it very, very often. Politicians do it quite a lot. Shock jocks and you know those podcaster types who like to talk about social issues, particularly on the right-leaning side of things, love to do this a lot. They will scream just the most outrageous, stupid thing about gay frogs or whatever, and just every couple of days they change up the act and start screaming at you from a different angle. The only purpose of any of it is to keep their audience angry, enraged, frightened, scared, because as long as those people are just constantly emotionally engaged, not thinking about anything for too long to actually let logic and thought set in, then they remain engaged and they can continue to sink money out of them from advertising dollars and whatnot. It's very, very simple psychology, and a lot of different content producers abuse this psychological trick. It's why clickbait works so very well, for example. That look you just saw cross across my face, I was thinking about calling this video something very, very clickbaity just to get your attention. I wonder if I did it. Let me know in the comments if I did it. I'll make up my mind later. Oh, I know. Why is Tom Holland such a bad actor? That'll get me the clicks, because Spider-Man's a big thing at the moment. And everybody loves Tom Holland because he's apparently such a lovely guy. But he might be trans. Believe it or not, that was a legitimate segue to what I'm talking about. So, I came across a video from a channel here on YouTube called Thought Slime. I just came across it while looking for something else, and you know, caught my attention. The title and the thumbnail caught my attention, so I clicked on it and watched it, and it was relevant to whatever it was I was looking for at the time. And I liked the way it was presented. I liked the presenter. I liked the way they framed up what they were talking about. So I watched a couple more, which is why I can't remember which one I watched first. So it doesn't really matter. But this morning, the YouTube algorithm recommended another video that they have put up recently, and it's kind of a podcast style thing. They and a guest are talking about a specific issue, and it brought to light something I had no idea existed. Apparently, it's reasonably a new phenomenon, only about 6 months or so old, at least by name, and it's transvestigations. And it's all these nut jobs absolutely obsessed by every single celebrity and every single famous person being trans. Like literally all of them. All of them. Name a famous person, they're trans, according to these people, and they do it in the most bewilderingly befuddling way. And this is what I opened with. I'm confused by it. I can't tell anymore what is sarcastic and what is earnest when it comes to these type of discussions. And that's their goal. They want you to be confused about which part to take seriously, which part to engage with. They want you to engage with this stupid stuff because that means all the serious, mean-spirited stuff they can try and sneak by you while you're arguing about the obviously bafflingly stupid blinking neon light of moronic bewilderment. Going, oh, I can't possibly ignore that. That is way too stupid to ignore. I must engage. And then they sneak by with all the other crappy stuff and weasel their way into people's minds and hearts. But there is this thing, this phenomenon on YouTube and Twitter and probably Facebook and other places that I don't visit called transvestigations, which is just finding pictures of celebrities and just drawing lines on them to try and prove that person is trans. Like they're not really a woman or they're not really a man. They were originally the other thing. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of TERFism and transphobia sort of bundled in underneath this, and homophobia and all that kind of stuff. And all the celebrities are lying to you and they're tricking you. And some celebrities are immortal. They just keep changing their identities through time. And So they're drawing lines on these photographs of, women who have strong jawlines or a prominent brow or sunken eyes or their clavicles at a certain angle or their legs when they're drawing lines on their legs as they're walking, trying to prove that, there's a thing that happens with your thigh bones, and they tend to be slightly more turned inwards if you're, born female than if you're a born male, and that affects the way you walk, and your knees go in certain angles and all that sort of stuff. And the curve of your back is indicative of whether or not you're really a man or really a woman underneath all the trickery and magic and surgery and whatever else they're insinuating is going on here. And I'm talking about every celebrity, not just the celebrities in the news right now. I mean, celebrities long dead. Marilyn Monroe, Buddy Holly, probably Elvis. I don't know, I haven't seen any Elvis ones. Found one for Simon Cowell, for crying out loud. Apparently he is really a she because there's a small overall female skull for a small female. Apparently the size of your mouth is very indicative of whether or not you're really a man or really a woman, which is news to me. There's a short female neck. There is an account called Bevy112 who was cited quite a lot in the video by Thought Slime that I mentioned earlier. And there's a there's a post from a few days ago that is responding to someone, talking about Betty White and hoping that Betty White stays safe for her upcoming 100th birthday, because that would be brilliant, because Betty White is a wonderfully or seemingly earnest and wonderful person, and you won't find too many people saying a bad thing about Betty White. We all love her, don't we? No, we don't, according to Bevy, because Bevy hates it when people are obsessed by celebrity. Even though Bevy's entire Twitter account is nothing but talking about celebrities, but attacking them and drawing lines on their photographs on their legs and stuff. Their knees go too close together, so they're trans. Speaking of Spider-Man and Tom Holland, see, I made it relevant. Tom Holland and Zendaya. I must say, I don't know if I've ever said her name out loud before. Zendaya. Am I saying that right? MJ. But not MJ, a different MJ, because don't even get me started on that bullshit. Just call her Mary Jane and be done with it. But apparently, they're both trans. They're the opposite of what they claim to actually present as, apparently. Which, I mean, there was that thing where Tom and Zendaya were giving interviews in the lead up to the launch of the Spider-Man movie, where they were talking about the height difference, because Tom is shorter than Zendaya is, and go, oh, that's, people are making a big deal out of it because tall women or something. And it was, how about Seth Rogen? Bet you didn't know Seth Rogen was originally a woman. Seth Rogen, classically feminine Seth Rogen. It's gotten to the point of such absurdity that they're even, Uno reversing on themselves. Elliot Page, for example, who relatively recently came out as trans, and go, hey, I'm Elliot. They had the top surgery and everything, and these people are claiming that actually that's just a trick to trick you into thinking that Elliot was assigned female at birth, but then transitioned to masculine. But it's not actually true. They were really born masculine, and pretended to be a woman for a while, and then went back to being a man. And the scars that you see in the picture of their top surgery, that those are fake to trick you. What? I can't tell anymore if these people are serious. And that's the point, I think. They are trying to overwhelm you with such ridiculousness that the actual issues at hand of just, treating people like people. Trans people are people, believe it or not. And I know for a lot of you, I'm preaching to the choir because I've spoken about this before, and hopefully all the transphobes and TERFs and whatever have fucked off my channel already because of the other things I've said about this. So, I'm not sort of speaking to anyone who actually needs to hear it, but trans people are people. Well, there might be a few trans people out there who just need to hear that today. Just be acknowledged as a person. Maybe they're having a rough day. How about Emma Watson? Apparently her square jaw, high calves, and let me check here, shoulders wider than her hips are all indicatives of secretly being trans. Not castrated, as apparently Anne Hathaway is. Did you know Anne Hathaway was castrated? I didn't. Apparently, though, Anne Hathaway has pale skin and long arms, which are both signs of castration. So, medically speaking, castration makes your arms grow longer and your skin get paler. Didn't know that either about testosterone and what the balls do for the body. Apparently, my arms would get longer if my balls went away, and my skin would get paler. That's wacky. And I know it's hypocritical in a way of me saying all this, pointing out how ridiculous this is, pointing out that this is all misdirection. It's a smoke show. It's a magician's patter to make you look the other way from the actual horrible stuff that these exact same type of people are saying elsewhere. You know, it's just to make you laugh and be distracted and think, oh, they're ridiculous, and not take them seriously. And then here I am talking about it and focusing attention on it, and then saying you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be focusing on it. You shouldn't be paying attention to it. But it's kind of irresistible in its own way. And I know it all comes across as hypocritical. I just wanted to point out, for those of you who hadn't realized why this kind of batshit crazy stuff is out there getting attention, and why so many people jump on board with it, either in seriousness or just for the lols, or because it seems to enrage, you know, the libs. They want to own the libs because this kind of stuff makes them brr, or on the libs side, you know, getting all outraged and laughing at it, or making videos about it, or pointing out how stupid it is in YouTube videos and things like that. This is exactly what they want to happen. And I hate that I've done it in an effort to point out that don't do this. Pay attention to the real issues. And I don't even know what I'm doing with it anymore. I'm giving them what they want while yelling about what we shouldn't give them what they want. And I hate myself for it. And I'm so confused by it. And I don't know whether it's my sort of autism brain not being able to pass what is and what isn't sarcasm in text form and stuff like that on Twitter. I do have issues with that sometimes. I had a similar issue when I was looking into NFT stuff last week. I did a whole big video about NFTs and how big of a scam they are. And a lot of the stuff I was finding, posts about NFTs that seemed to be serious, but then was so stupid or so lacking in self-awareness about it, I thought, well, it has to be parody. Nobody's that stupid. They can't be that stupid and be able to operate a computer and spell words at the same time. And I can't tell anymore whether any of that is parody, whether this is parody, whether it's misdirection, whether it's patter. I'm losing my damn mind. I don't know. I don't even know what this video is about anymore. Kind of lost the plot there at the end. At least I got something up on the channel, which productivity's been a bit low recently, so it's something. Thanks, patrons. I'm Blunty. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Emma Watson is trans. I would suck Emma Watson's